Welcome friends to another 40k video. Today we join the Space Marine chapter, the Executioners. What makes them different to the founding friends? Let's find out. They are from the line of Dawn, their focus slaughtering mankind's foes. They are a barbarous chapter and have a reputation for undaunted endurance and wrath. They see themselves as the Emperor's chosen headmen. They recruit battle brothers from feral worlds. Other Marines can see them as primitives, but they are cunning, and that is earned in their battles. Their home lays at the twin planets of Stygia and Aquilon, planets of fire and ice, locked in an orbit. Their fortress monastery is an asteroid called the Darken Vault, trapped by gravity between those two worlds, and from which their warships hunt. The laws of the chapter say that each Marine must forge their own path to glory, to become worthy of remembrance in great chronicles. They are held by the chapter's chaplains or death speakers, who recount the tales at holy feasts and ceremonies of memorial held in their monastery. They also keep order amongst the Marines, and the chapter keeps a higher number of chaplains than normal to deal with this. Each company, by tradition, has 3 and reports to the overall High Chaplain. The High Chaplain is also called Lord Speaker of the Dead. The chaplains keep precise records of battle, so that lessons of both victory and defeat are passed on to future Marines. Bloodshed of the Emperor's enemies must happen for a Marine to enter these chronicles. The respect of their fellow Marines and attaining ranks in the chapter depend on this. The brothers are taught to avenge slights against their honour with blood, even amongst their own ranks. And these are not brawls, but battles to maiming or death. They also on the battlefield take trophies from those they fight, who they deem worthy. These are done not for glory, but for the tally of the death speakers, and are then disregarded, unless they are highly significant, in which case they are kept as relics and can adorn a Marine's battle plate. The spiritual beliefs of the Executioners take the form of animism and ancestor worship, and they have little time for the ecclesiarchy, except as they see it as the faith in the Emperor is a tool and a way to bind the multitudes of humanity. They are very independent in this chapter, but keep ties with other foundings. For example, they allow the Darken Vault, their monastery, to be used by the Explorator founding chapter. Each company captain within their ranks is treated as a warlord and given great independence in what they can do. The master of the chapter, known as the High Executioner, has the ultimate authority, but must also heed to his captains. With others, these warlords can form a war council to overthrow the High Executioner if they see him as unworthy, and to get into that position of leadership, the company's captains can challenge the leader to take his place. One particular incident that happens during the Badab War, and which shows the Executioners being aided by other Space Marines, is the following. Their numbers had been worn down by holding off orcs, and it is then the twin chapter worlds of Stygia and Aquilon came under siege. The attackers were a nightmarish Xenos species of worm-ridden, writhing charnel feasters, never before encountered. Again and again they struck without warning, their strange disc-like ships all but undetectable to Darken Vault's defences, until the last moment of their attack, when their ghost-like rays seared through tens of meters of ferrous asteroid mass in an instant to spill a tide of horror into the fortress's lower levels. The resulting battles in the catacombs at the heart of the Executioner's fortress monastery were unceasing and terrible, and in a short span of time few Space Marines remained to defend the inner sanctum, and the chapter stood on the brink of extinction. And it was then the astral claws, supported by the cruisers of the battle fleet Tempestus, broke the siege of Darken Vault. Their arrival came just as the last of the executioners were gathering for a final valiant stand. Many astral claws died in breaking the siege, and among their losses they counted their chapter master, Acus Seneca. The handful of executioners that endured owed a blood debt to the astral claws for the salvation of their chapter, and swore that should the astral claws ever be so threatened, they would respond in kind. It would be almost a century and a half before the executioners returned again to full strength as a chapter, and they would never forget their oath. When the time came 1,000 years and more later, they would heed the call. And this is known as the executioner's debt. And on that moment, that's where I'll end the video today, friends. Drop me a comment down below. Let's talk.